Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, live from Harlem in New York City, it's Alex and the Ramble. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, more stuff. Yes, more stuff is Larry Bubble's stuff. Brown. Excuse me, Larry.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah, he's lying around there in San Francisco. Going for a run today, are you?
I did that yesterday, actually. That was my big day. I ran 6 miles, and I went to the Throckmorton Theater.
Yeah.
Saw Eddie Brill.
Oh, really? Eddie Brill. He used to be the, what do you call it?
The booker.
The booker at Letterman, but he was also the
warm-up guy.
The warm-up guy, yeah. And then
I think that's a good job. The warm-up guys, I think that's an after job, so you get a retirement and everything.
Yeah. But I was just wondering, he did have problems towards the end of the Letterman. He lost the job because of some improprieties, which I don't know exactly what they were. So, but
I think there was an interview and something about Letterman not using women comics. I think there was something about that.
I don't know if that's true or not. I guess, Letterman didn't always use comics on the show. You did a set, but it wasn't like every night there was a set by a comic.
His early show, he used like maybe 3 a week, and towards the end, maybe it was like 1 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, on CBS.
Yeah. And one of those 2 weeks was you.
It was, yeah.
Yes. You went back, what, after 20 years, was it?
21.
21 years.
And I remember the thing about doing the early Letterman show, the people said, oh, it's so exciting to do that. And then you realize the comic was the last thing on the Letterman show, so you're literally being seen at 1:25 in the morning.
Right. Also, the music acts they put on then, too.
Yeah.
And you're right. Hardly.
Nobody saw it.
Well, Shecky told me once that they pretty much felt nobody watched past 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, and so that they always did their first act with him, and then their first guest was always the most important guest, and then everybody else got the dregs of the audience. So. But you did very well on that set. I mean, I've seen it a couple of times over and over again, and I just think you were so terrific there. It's a shame you didn't go back more.
Well,
who was it that we know that was on more than anybody else as a comedian?
Jake Johansson.
Jake Johansson.
40
times?
Yeah.
And he still didn't have a real career.
You would say he's not known. I mean, the average American would not know him, I don't think.
Yet he was on Letterman 40 times.
Yeah.
So how can you be on Letterman 40 times and not be a star?
Exactly. I mean, I don't think he did The Tonight Show, which tended to make stars more than the Letterman show.
You should have done it 40 times, but at the rate you were going, you would have had it done.
That would have been 5 lifetimes.
5 lifetimes, because you do it once every 20 years. Yeah. But, it just because you go on there doesn't make you a star.
No, I saw Jack Gallagher last week, and he was telling me it was the 40th anniversary of his first Tonight Show appearance.
There's a guy, to begin with, nicest guy in the world, right?
That should have been famous.
That should have been famous, but he's a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
He was just aces.
And a great act.
Yeah, and I always keep forgetting his name when I'm telling this story. But Jack Gallagher had the one moment in his career that I often said to him, "Why didn't you blow your brains out?" And he said, "I just accepted it." And you know what I'm talking about? He had a series on ABC. It was the Jack Gallagher show, or it was Where's Jack? I don't know what the name of the show.
Yeah, his name was in the title. It was Bringing Up, or something about Jack. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was supposed to go on Monday, and ABC was so sold on this show on Friday, or on Thursday, or the week before, whenever, that they took out a double-page ad in TV Guide. Now, how many people do you know got 2 pages, one beside the other, advertising your show?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal, right? So now he's thinking, life's good. We just shot 10 episodes. I know those are going to go on the air, and now they're taking out this double-page ad in TV Guide. I'm a hit. He gets a call on Sunday from the new head of programming at ABC. This is a typical TV story. And they tell him, "We've decided not to air the show."
Well, that's like that's similar story in Seinfeld. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
We decided not to run it.
Well, at least he got to run his pilot in that show.
Yeah.
The pilot didn't even run. It was the Monday. People went to see whatever the ad was they saw, and they saw, I don't know, cartoons. I don't know what they ran, but they didn't.
I should have asked him about that.
And I said, "Jack, didn't you want to blow your brains out at that point?" He says, "That's television." And he went back to Sacramento, got himself a local TV gig. You know,
he did very well.
And did very well up there.
He just sold his house, and he's moving back to Boston.
He is?
Yeah.
Wow. But nice guy, great guy. It was the kind of guy that when I heard that he had a series going on, you went, great. I hope he makes it. Everybody liked this guy.
One of the strongest sets I've ever seen on TV was you were hosting when he did Comedy Tonight.
Really? I can't even remember that he did do Comedy Tonight, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he killed. Oh, my God. It was unbelievable.
Well, I can't even remember his act. I can't remember what was so special about it. But I assume I really liked it.
Yeah.
I remember him as being very, very funny. And a lot of people, went through my doors there, half of which I can't even remember. But he was one of the ones I remember. And I remember you because you wouldn't go away, so. But there are comedians that I remember to this day because they were so good and special. But if I mention them to this audience, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
No. But,
if I mentioned what comic in San Francisco was considered to be the premier comic? I mean, in other words, the comic that all the comics comic. Okay.
Could have been Pearl.
No.
Slayton.
No, I mean Slayton was great.
Oh, Kramer.
Jeremy Kramer.
Jeremy Kramer. Yeah.
And I say, Jeremy Kramer, one of the funniest guys I've ever known.
The most original.
And the most original. And you would have thought that of all the people that and you would probably have said it at the time if I asked you, which of the comedians around do you think is going to make it big? You would say Kramer.
Oh, he was my favorite. He was... He actually, when I started, he took me under his wing and kind of mentored me. I was so thrilled with that. And,
well, let me just say to the audience that's listening right now, do you know who Jeremy Kramer is? And there's a collective no. And I never could figure that one out, And maybe maybe there's some people, why is it there's some comics who are terrible who make it big? And we could start naming them, but why? And then there are other comics that are really great, like Jeremy Kramer, who never make it. And I think the difference is they don't have the hunger. You know, Jeremy knew he was funny. He felt that anything he got, he deserved. So, but he was waiting for it to be handed to him on a plate. And the plate was never delivered to his house, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So sometimes calling somebody the comics comic, it really hobbles them. It makes them difficult to make it. But I mean, he was great. It was just, I don't even know where he is now. Do you?
He's in Southern California. In fact, Jack had seen him and said he saw him a couple of weeks before he came up here. And Jack and Kramer were the funniest thing in Shakes the Clown was Kramer and Gallagher played the cops. Remember?
Oh, I never really watched that movie.
There's a couple of funny spots in the movie, but
that was about the time that I could no longer stand Goldthwait.
Yeah.
You know, he directed this movie called Shakes the Clown, which I never saw it, but I hear was very funny.
It has its moments.
Or it has its moments.
Yeah.
But they're just people that you thought would have made it, and like you, I think you should have made it bigger. But I don't think you had the desire to. I think you were happy with the way your life was.
I was, I didn't have to. I was making a living. That's all I wanted.
I mean, do you feel that you passed any opportunities by particularly?
I think if I were serious about it, I would obviously move to L.A. and
yeah.
So staying up here in Mayberry was not a good idea.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, every time I ever saw you on television, there were 2 times I saw you on television. I mean, big time, where the cameramen knew how to shoot you. Were both Letterman sets, and on both Letterman sets, you killed.
Well, did Shucky think I was funny?
Shucky thought you were funny. Oh, He said to me, Bubbles was here last night. And I said, how'd he do? I mean, I watched the show. I said, how'd he do? How do you think he did? And he said, he killed.
Yeah,
he can come back anytime. I said, yeah, wait another 20 years. But the thing was that the first time you were on and the second time you were on, the thing I said to myself was, the one thing he's got, and it is the one thing you had, was the ability with your face to be funny. Now, you don't know that because you're always standing up on a stage and nobody's watching you in close-up. But in close-up, you're a funnier comic than you are on stage.
I did mug, I don't think, maybe it didn't show up in a club, but I definitely did use my face.
Yeah. And I mean, the people, because they're not really watching you because the cameras are all in front of you, they're watching the monitors. They were laughing like crazy every time you do one of those muggings. So you really were made for television.
I missed my calling.
You missed. Well, I don't want to make you feel bad, and yes, it is a little late. Although there's some comic working who's like, well, he says he's 75 or something, and they put him up there like he's a real old guy, and that, but he's very funny. He's a one-liner guy like you.
I've seen him,
And he's very good. He's very funny. But because he looks older than he is, so that's why it works. But at his age, he should be that good, You only get better with age until you don't, I mean, I don't think I'm as good as I used to be, but I think there was a period of time in my 70s where I was better than I've ever been. So what have you. Anyway, right now I'm just operating on fumes, all right?
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to talk to me. I asked him during the break, before we did this one, what you wanted to talk about, anything you want to talk about. And you said the Kennedy paper.
The Kennedy files,
Kennedy
which
files.
I don't think I would love for something to come out, but I don't think if the CIA killed Kennedy, they put it in a file.
Yeah, yeah.
It was long destroyed.
Or anybody would put it in a file who thinks they could get killed for putting it in a file. All right? I don't think that will ever come, will ever be settled. All right? Unless one day they say, I have a theory, and it's a very controversial theory. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Oswald did it. I used to say on the radio, I think you remember this, I would say, Oswald did it. And if you don't believe that, I did it. Now, everybody shut up. Because I was so sick of everybody coming out with these conspiracy theories.
Oh, there's so many. That's the problem.
And they say, how could that one guy in that building with a rifle shoot 3 shots and hit the president 3 times or whatever? And that's what that kind of incident is. It's a complete fluke. I mean, he could have missed the president, and Kennedy would still be alive today. And he wouldn't be the only one humping porn stars. All right. So anyway, I never could see another conspiracy involved. I did have a feeling that it could have been a mixture of the FBI and Cuba doing it. Okay, because they both had something against Kennedy.
Hoover hated him.
Yeah, Hoover hated him, and because all the people that were, a lot of the people that were involved were FBI and were Cuban and so on and so forth, and we know that Oswald had visited Cuba. I believe he visited Cuba. Yeah, and it could have been him alone. It could have been him, aided and abetted by other people, but I think he still did it. So I know people are out there now going, Alex, you don't know what you're talking about. And no, I don't. So,
Well, like you said, we'll probably never know.
But did you see any of the papers?
No.
Or did you hear about them at all?
They keep saying they're going to release more and more. And
well, they said they released them, and then that was the last I heard of it. It wasn't like everybody was on television discussing the papers.
Yeah, there was something big you would have heard about.
Yeah. Nothing big was happening. So it's, I just, as I say, I hold the controversial theory that Oswald did it. However, I do have a theory that of another thing is that, and I think the Democrats should make a big deal out of it. I think the last election may have been stolen.
Really?
Yeah, and we should start hitting up hard on that theory because, after all, didn't Trump, when he thought his was stolen? So let's start yelling the election was stolen. So I don't know. The world's strange out there.
Well, many elections have been stolen, and
I'm going to ask you this. I don't know what the answer is. Do you have stocks? Huh?
U.S. stock?
Do you have stocks?
I got a little retirement thing. Yeah, I think I put most of them into Treasury bills.
Oh, okay. Then your
stock market to me, the stock market looks like it's been a crash for the last 10 years. So I don't know anything. So.
Well, I put about maybe 150,000 or something into stocks, and the rest are in Treasury bills that come due in about another year and a half, and those are safe.
Yeah.
Those are safe. Do you know what they say this is selling like crazy? Gold.
Yeah.
People are pulling out all their money and putting it into gold. Now, don't pull out your money right now, folks, because if you pull your money out, then you have lost it, and things will get better. Maybe not up to where they were, but they will get better. We've always seen that happen. But the problem is we're going to have the same president for the next 3.5 years, and I don't know for the life of me how much more damage he can do, but I think there's a sufficient amount of damage he can do. So,
well, especially if he puts tariffs on hookers.
well, I love it when you go out and you fight against China. You know, that's like going to the biggest bully in school and saying, come on, put him up. You know, I mean, China, you know, today China, this is a couple of weeks earlier, folks, and this is running, but China said, we're not going to import any more American cars. They don't need to. They've got their own auto industry over there. Although I don't know if you've ever been in a Chinese car. I have been there. I hope they're better now. That was like 15 years ago, but they had we rode in a Chinese car. It was a Chinese made. It was the national car, okay, and I remember it as being rather clunky, you know.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you know what happened yesterday? See, I can talk about something. We went to the dentist. But we took a lift, and I asked for a nice one, you know. And what did they send me? They sent me a guy with a Tesla. I want to hate Teslas, okay, because of Elon Musk. But I got to tell you, they're a pretty good car, you know. I mean, I just felt I was taking a quality ride.
Someone told me they're actually more of a computer than a car.
Oh, absolutely. The guy had a giant. It's not just an iPad, because an iPad's a certain size. It was a giant iPad, and on that you could see images. It just a picture, not pictures really, but a representation of everything that was on the street ahead of you and behind you. And you could see little people walking, you know, and I would look out the window, and sure enough, there's one person walking. Or if it's two people walking, it's two people walking. If it's a person walking with a dog, I believe I saw somebody holding a leash. All right? So, I mean, it's amazing. And then I said to the guy, can this car drive itself? And he said, yeah, just I don't use it when I have people in the car because it would make them a little upset, you know. He said, but it parks itself. He said, I use it to park itself all the time. Parks better than I do. So, yes, you're right. It is more computer than it is a car. And it's got something like, I think, 22 cameras all around the car.
Yeah, they're like, even when it's parked, I guess it's videoing anybody that comes near it. So.
Yeah. Also, if you're turning and things like that, automatically shows you a picture of the road ahead. In other words, it changes what you see on that screen. And it really, I mean, I got to admit, you know, I mean, I hate Musk, and I would never buy a Tesla because of that. But I feel bad that I would never buy a Tesla because it's a damn good car.
Wow.
Yeah. I hate to say that, but it's true. You know.
Well, I know someone that drove one from L.A. to San Francisco, and they said they touched the steering wheel like 3 times the entire way up.
Wow. Well, that's kind of scary. You know, I've seen videos of it automatically driving in San Francisco, and no hands on the wheel or anything like that. And it stops at every stop sign. It knows if there's somebody juts out in front of them, and immediately puts the brakes on. I mean, amazing, just amazing. But you know, the electronics have to go wrong only once, and you're dead. You
right.
Know, that's the problem. And we rely, you know, our overseers, our masters now is electronics, and we somehow think electronics are perfect, but, you know, they're not perfect. And in this case, I don't know if I could take my hands off the wheel. But I understand why that guy felt he didn't have to.
You didn't have to.
He's
Yeah.
probably used to it by now. I imagine if
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you, I don't feel I can drive a car anymore. I put myself behind the wheel, and I don't know, will I have the ability to drive? But if I had one of those cars, it's no problem.
Yeah.
I just say, take me up to Bubbles' place and
Yeah.
push the button and just keep my wits about me in case the thing is failing and I have to immediately turn it off, But anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time again. You are so much fun. I just enjoy these. I don't know if anybody else does, but we have a good time talking to each other.
Yeah. Let's. You should talk to Jack Gallagher maybe sometime.
I would love to. I would love to. Funny guy. So are you, my friend.
You too, my friend.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that was Larry Bubbles Brown, ladies and gentlemen, the Bubs. And he's with us every Friday for the most part, unless we run him another night. But we usually run him on Fridays. Anyway, hello everybody. How are you? It's what time? What day is it? It's Friday. Oh, it's Friday. All right. It's the last day of the week. I don't have to do a show tomorrow. I don't have to do it Sunday. I have one on Monday. By the way, Amy Manuel is off tonight. She has a migraine. And so I hoped her well. And for those of you who normally join her on her show, she will not be on tonight. At least that's what I'm told. I mean, it's subject to change, although I don't know how she's going to get a hold of me and change it. But anyway. So anyway, let me see here. We got some people waiting to come on, so let's just admit them all. Charlie Wallace is here, and let me see here. Let me admit them all. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Didn't push the button well enough. Okay, there's Charlie. Hello, Charlie. We know where you're staying tonight.
Yep.
And hello, Alex. How are you? I'm fine, thank you very much. Here comes Jeff. We got Alan. Hello, Alan. The fabulous Josh Wheeler is here, and Jeffrey Stein is here as well. And last night we had only had 4 people on, but 4 of us on. But it was a good little show, wasn't it, Josh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, good people.
Talk about the right stuff. It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry
anyway,
I missed it.
yeah. Well, you were doing what? What were you
I was
doing?
umpiring, yeah.
You were umpiring. Oh, okay. I thought you were making hot monkey love or something. What do I know, right?
Yeah.
Let me see here. And how are you tonight, Alan? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Excuse me. I was at late dinner with my family, 30 miles away for a Brazilian barbecue.
Oh, Brazilian barbecue. Very good.
Not this place. This place was a dump.
Really? Oh, really? That bad, huh?
All the meat was overcooked. $75.
No, it was probably in Brazil, right?
It was in Cupertino, California.
You mean, how much did they charge you?
$75. That's actually, I went to one in Vegas for $120 something dollars a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic. But
yeah, describe Brazilian barbecue. They have it here in New York.
What they do is you order the meat. You can get usually a salad bar there. The salad bar was nice, but somebody comes by with a sword or a skewer, and that's got chunks of different beef on it, and they'll say, "Would you like a piece?" And you'll say yes, and they'll scoop off a little 2-ounce piece of beef, and you can have different beef, chicken, lamb.
Do they limit the amount you can have?
No, you can eat until you pop, I guess.
Until you pop. Okay. All right.
But there were only 3 different meats that they had that were like medium to medium rare. And, the rest of them were just overcooked, and that was sad.
Well, hello, Charlene. Hi, how are you? You mentioned that the other night you went out to dinner with, our favorite person.
Oh yeah. Oh, on ABC.
I guess when I said our favorite person, it didn't register correctly because it was
I know
Phil.
who you're talking
I
about.
Phil.
see. Okay.
Yeah, that was what night was it? That was Tuesday night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't interfere with the shows that way. Yeah, I went out with Phil and Steve Fox joined us, and we had a good meal at Forbes Mill Steakhouse
Mm-hmm.
in Danville.
How are they?
Very good.
Oh, okay. Phil usually knows the good steak places.
He does. He's good at picking restaurants in his neck of the woods. So
My favorite steak place is Bob's Roadkill. It's really good. Well, you never eat roadkill, do you?
I always wanted to taste peacock. So
Well, but roadkill
Squirrels.
might be
Stuff like that.
might be okay. Well, you don't know. We've never had roadkill, have we?
I haven't.
no,
But anyway, so how was our friend Phil?
Phil was doing good. He was doing good. He's losing weight. He's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling good, and I think his new girlfriend is helping him feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Good about himself, I guess, would
Yeah.
be the way to put it. He's,
But she's a blatant right winger, isn't she?
I really don't know much about her.
See, I met her.
You have
She-
actually met her. I
Yeah.
haven't met her.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
No.
I
No, he's
thought
afraid.
I
He's
said to
afraid.
Phil, she's very nice. I really liked her. She was really fine. And then he told me afterwards that she was a worse right winger than he is.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, she's a big trumper. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she lives in kind of a Republican neighborhood, North Bay.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to be Republican.
No, it doesn't.
You can be smart, But anyway, so did you get to talk at all about Trump at all?
You mean with Phil? No,
Yeah.
we kind of kept that conversation. My roommate went, which he believes that he could talk to a tree and it would vote for anybody but Trump. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
And Phil's pretty much a tree in that respect.
I told him, tone it down when you're with Phil and my friends that are Republican. I have other friends that are Republican, not as crazy about Trump as him, but
Yeah. Hello to Josh. And thank you for joining us tonight, Josh. And how's your life going?
Pretty much same as yesterday.
The same as yesterday. Okay. Still out there looking for meaningful employment, are you?
Yeah, I am indeed.
Is it looking good?
Yeah, it's okay. I have a few things going. It's not as good as I think it should be, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
terrible. Not
Well, Josh went to work for a friend, all right, who wanted you to go to work, join him at this place he was starting up or something.
yeah, he wasn't, but he was working there running it for the people who were. Yeah.
Yeah, so you said, okay, good friend, I think I'll go to work for him. And then it just, the bottom fell out of the bottom of it, right?
Yeah, basically I got burned.
Yeah, well, that happens, But you seem very competent at what you do, so you shouldn't have any trouble bouncing back. It's just,
Hopefully,
I think things are slow right now because a lot of people are afraid of the economy. And so they don't know how it's going to affect the business they have,
yeah, things are not, all that great. For all the talk about how great it was going to be, it's obviously not. I mean, if, I wasn't, it was basically like a layoff. I mean, I didn't do anything. And, I wasn't the only person. There was a few other manager level people, including my friend, by the way. He got burned too.
Yeah.
So, I'm just hoping that, my severance ran out, so I filed for unemployment. I'm just hoping they don't, pull some kind of dickhead move and try to, deny it or whatever. And not the state, but, when you file, they send something to the employer, and then the employer has to respond. And, like if they respond back and say, no, we fired him for a cause because, he was like he came in and did this or that. If they
He smelled
get
bad
up or whatever, because they don't want to pay their portion of it, they could cause me some problems, some money. So hopefully they don't pull any kind of dickhead move like that. But
Yeah.
I won't know till I know.
Yeah.
So
And
hopefully not though. If they don't, I should get approved, and with the amount of money that I'll receive, with the amount of money that I make, I would get the Mac. So that would be okay for a while. But if they pull some kind of crap and I have to waste a bunch of time, appealing and all that, that's not going to be good. But well, one day at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I get unemployment, I'm not really interested in it. I'm interested in going back to work.
The only time my entire life that I applied and got unemployment was after I left Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Other times that I was out of work, I didn't apply for it because I just figured I don't want to go through that hassle. And then I didn't. And then I decided when I left Sirius XM, to hell with it, man. All these years, that I've been working, I deserve it, So I went out and got it, And I had 16 weeks of severance. Boy, nice company, huh? Anyway, 16 weeks of severance. And then I applied for the unemployment, and that was good for, I can't remember how many weeks now, maybe a half a year or something. I don't remember.
Most states, it's like 26 weeks.
Yeah,
or something,
something like that.
That's what it is here. So most states, I think, are around 6 months or so.
It was kind of nice getting that money coming in, Marjorie was working, so we were okay. And I had, I was getting Social Security, so I was kind of fine. But I decided to take the, I wasn't going to turn down the unemployment. Why not? Why?
I wouldn't either.
It's there. I'll take it. Jeff, did you ever apply for unemployment?
Probably did, but I can't remember when. It wasn't substantial.
Mm-hmm.
When I think when I got terminated or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was easy.
Yeah, the trouble you got is with your AirPods, is that when you have them in and it's trying to pick up your voice from the AirPods, it's now talk to us from the microphone.
How's that now?
See, it's much better. Can you hear us? Can you hear us okay? Let me see. What happened to him?
No,
I don't think he can hear us because he took those out.
Oh,
Yeah.
just put one in.
yeah.
You have to get it set where his speaker is for those, but his microphone is still the computer. But I know he probably doesn't know how to go in there and change those inputs. That
Yeah.
doesn't work, but.
Yeah. Can you hear us, Jeff?
How's that now?
Yeah, that's good. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. See, the trouble is that you probably can do it, so you could use those earphones, as Josh was saying, but you have to turn them off for speaking. And since we're not going to have you go through that right now, so
I met a cousin of mine, and her husband, which I've met him a couple of times, and he went to one of those colleges in Massachusetts that Trump was trying to get rid of.
Harvard?
Harvard, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was pretty negative on what Trump was suggesting.
Well, of course. I mean, he's trying to involve himself in the education of America, and also, at Harvard they also have a lot of programs for working on curing diseases and all kinds of things.
Tremendous research.
Yeah, tremendous research, and all that could come to a screaming halt. Because some of it has come to a screaming halt. But what does Trump think he's doing? To begin with, he obviously didn't learn anything when he went to school. He went to, what was it, Wharton?
Wharton.
I wonder if Wharton even wants to admit that they taught him anything. But Anyway, so yeah. So and Charlene, hello to you.
Yeah, hi.
She is the Ozempic poster girl.
Yes.
You still doing it?
Yeah, I don't know if that's why I was sick today or something, but between my arthritis and what else? My sinuses, I like really felt like crap yesterday and today.
Mm.
It could be the Ozempic because, that gives you side effect. I don't know. I was like vomiting and stuff. But I don't know. It's worth it to me to lose weight. So I have to stay on it too.
You have to stay on it. If you quit, what
Yeah.
happens? You start
I
gaining.
guess I'll gain it all
You
back or
gain it
something.
all
I mean,
back.
I don't want to get, what was it, 68 pounds? I don't want to gain that back.
We see that then that can't be a very good way to lose weight because I
know,
mean if
yeah.
you stop it's like being hooked on heroin, for instance.
Exactly.
If you stop, you start having withdrawal symptoms, and here you've got a drug, great for the company, that if you quit, you're going to gain the weight back.
Yeah, I'm probably a lab rat, right? They're testing it on people, really.
Well, there's
right?
certain new drugs that are coming down the pike that I think are just aimed themselves at that and don't have the same effects. So
Right,
we'll see
right.
what happens. But anyway, well, you were wanted to say something, Alan?
Are you close to the wildfires?
Oh, I smelt them, I think, the other day.
Oh,
Yeah, we
It
haven't
smelled
got.
like somebody burning wood in those, in the backyard. They have these chimney things. But I think it might have been that wildfire. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, very
Yeah,
bad.
it's very bad. But we didn't get any of the smoke over here. I
They
remember.
thought it was coming, yeah.
I remember when they had the Canadian wildfires. The sky here turned red for several
Yeah,
days.
remember that? It was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
The sky was orange.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so you're feeling good outside of that.
Well, then Frankie the Lung is all day tomorrow is going to be his services, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow's Frankie the Lung's
Frankie the
funeral
Lung.
service.
Yeah. And boy, it's like
Frank.
crazy. All these people are flying to Rome. The best thing that ever happened to Italy for tourism, right?
Not really, because Trump's going. But
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. And they
Yeah.
say that he's not going to be happy because he's not going to be seated right in the front row. That's for the, like the bishops or something and all the important religious.
He's
gonna
not
be
happy
mad.
because he's not going to be in the front row.
Right.
Well,
Well, let's see what happens.
what he won't like is if he has to be seated next to Biden.
Oh, is he going to?
That would be good.
I would imagine, knowing the proprieties of the Vatican, that they will make sure they don't sit next to each other.
Why even
Right.
give him a chair?
Yeah, make
Why you-
Trump stand up.
That's right.
Yeah, he has trouble with that, doesn't he?
Well, yeah.
He has to sit most of the time because he's so fat and
Yeah.
old. And,
Frankie the Lung is the mob name we gave the Pope.
yeah, Albert, right?
Yeah.
Call him Frankie
Charlie is
Malone.
Charlie's Four Toes.
Yep.
And Patrick is. Do you have a name, Patrick? Do we have a? No, we don't. There.
Yeah,
Patrick.
I don't know. I don't know what would be good for a cripple.
It's Patrick the Roller.
Wheels. We'll call him Wheels.
Wheels.
Yeah,
Wheels, he runs over his enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about Josh's cat. I heard last night he passed
Yeah.
away.
No.
By the way, I'm going to put my face on here. The reason I'm going to do it is because I don't want to. I'm going to try and put this person on. I can't remember whether we've ever had them on. So Larkin, are you there?
Yeah, how you
Oh,
doing?
yeah, we're
Oh,
coming
okay. All right. Yeah. It's been a while, and
Yeah,
how you doing?
not bad. I was just thinking about you guys and thought I'd join in.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, we haven't seen
Yeah.
you in. Geez, you still living down in the
Same place in the Tenderloin.
Tenderloin? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm freaked out about everything, the politics and stuff. But I was thinking about you because I was watching this new John Lennon documentary, and in the beginning they have like him being interviewed, and I think it's you that's interviewing.
I
him.
believe it
Oh,
is.
no, really?
I've been
Wow.
told it is. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
And
it?
you know
What's the
what?
name?
Nobody asked me if they could use my voice.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind them using. If they came to me and said, "Look, we're doing this documentary. We can't afford to pay you, but do you mind if we use your voice?" I would say, "Sure, go right ahead. Be my guest." But when I'm not asked, then I get a little pissed off. You know. Where did you watch it? Because I don't know where it's on.
It was at the Opera Plaza over here in San Francisco.
Oh, it's playing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's supposedly going to be on one of the, you know.
Yeah, it's an HBO doc, so it'll be on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I can hardly wait to hear myself and then file a suit. It's, you know. No, but am I right or am I wrong? I mean, it's fine. If you want to use my voice, go ahead. If it's only using it for 2 or 3 seconds, then go ahead. It's my pleasure, right? But please, please ask.
I don't know when stuff like that, like in newspapers and those, I don't know when they go into the public domain. I thought it was 25 years.
It doesn't have anything to do really with public domain. I happen to be a member of AFTRA.
SAG-AFTRA.
SAG-AFTRA.
So
And
you have
if
to be
they use
paid,
my
right?
voice and don't get paid for it, then they're violating their SAG-AFTRA agreement.
The check is in the mail.
Well, I doubt that. They probably don't know. They probably don't even know it was me.
They probably don't even know you're still alive.
Well, I know what it was. It was the interview we did with them live in the studio.
Wow.
In
WPLJ.
Yeah, and that was in 19. Oh God, I'm trying to remember.
40.
No, 1970, something like that. 71. And we did the interview, and people asked him questions, and there were people calling, and supposedly they have some people doing that. So you went over to watch the documentary, right?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it was.
Isn't it all about his time in New York City?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of great footage of that whole, that whole scene in the early New York City of the early 70s.
Yeah. Well, that's when I knew John.
Yeah.
He had come to New York. I knew him not well, peripherally, but I knew Yoko a lot better. I had her on my show more times than I ever had him on my show. Because he didn't have a lot to say. Okay? I know people
said it
are
all in his music. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the people who said everything he had to say in his music and expressed it better in his music. But she, on the other hand, she was brilliant. I loved Yoko. I thought she was terrific. Anyway, so how's everything? How do you have any of you felt the economy changing because of all the tariff stuff and everything? They say May is going to be when it's really going to hit.
My coffee's already gone up 10%.
Your what?
Coffee.
Really?
Used to be $8 and now it's $9 for a bag of coffee.
I went into a Home Depot and about a third of the store is empty. The shelves.
Oh, people are getting ready and stocking up.
No, well, but a lot of that stuff comes from out of the country.
Oh, they're not getting it.
Yeah.
My Bitcoin's up. My Bitcoin's doing well.
How come you still live in the TL?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's how expensive it is here in the San
Hey,
Francisco.
the rent is good in the Tenderloin, okay?
Yeah. I got
gotta
rent
buy the
protection.
building that Alex lives in and raise his rent.
But your Bitcoin's doing good?
Yeah, I mean it was down. I put like 100,000 into it, and it was down to like 40,000, and I said I'm not going to sell.
I thought you were poor as a church mouse. What are you telling me? 100,000?
Well, that's what I got.
So you put 100,000 into Bitcoin. How much is it worth right now?
It's about 110, but it was down to like 40K. But I never sold.
No,
So
that's not. And the time to sell is not when it's down.
Right? Yeah. I never sold. Should have bought more, but whatever.
Anybody else feeling the pinch?
Mm.
We're gonna feel it
Friend
though. You're
who's
saying that.
plays golf, and he says the price of golf went down half.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Nobody wants to go play golf with Trump.
The price of golf has gone down?
Price, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, but what are the commodities that are being used there that are tariffed?
yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Green.
Nothing.
Yeah, green fees. No.
Green fees.
They're not playing.
The chemicals that are sprayed on all the plants and lawn and everything probably come from China.
It could come from here, you know. I mean, I don't know every single different market. I do know that it's kind of sad, you know. But what the hell, you know? I just think that you know I just wondering if it's just going to start hitting everywhere. Do you see it, Charlene, out in New Jersey? I mean,
Well,
have there been?
Easter, I guess ShopRite ate the cost of the eggs as a special that they went down to like $2.99, $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're back up to $8.79. But I don't think that's the tariff thing. Like that. That has nothing to do with him and that.
Bird flu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the avian thing. But Alex, what's going on with this Hegseth stuff? Because he's been missing and all this. Now they're going to have to replace him. He's like Secretary of State, right?
No, defense.
Oh, defense. Okay.
You know something. What was it that what's his name in the New York Times said? If you hire clowns, you get a circus.
Yeah.
You know, Hegseth is the most probably. I'm probably more qualified to be the Secretary of Defense.
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Nobody liked
and
him.
I
in the
wouldn't even
beginning.
think of taking the job. All right.
He was unqualified.
Yeah,
right?
Hegseth is such an egotist that he didn't say, "Hey, come on, Secretary of Defense. What do I know about defense?" You know. Oh well, wait a minute. He did the weekends on Fox and Friends, so he must know about defense, right? Most
Everybody's got to be a TV star
Apparently,
in
a
the
day
Trump
or
thing.
two ago, Charlene, he sent another message, unencrypted, stuff that was supposed to be encrypted across Chat GBT or one of those two.
No, Signal.
Yeah. Sorry. And and it was top secret material again. Trump standing behind this.
Well,
guy.
everything that's top secret he sends out to his wife.
Yeah.
I don't know why, you know.
He likes her. I don't know.
Yeah, and he even brings her to special secret meetings.
Yeah.
To just hang out. He's kind of like Hegseth's Yoko. That's what she is. You know.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. He's so stupid. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, stupid isn't it? You know. I mean, maybe Hegseth isn't stupid, although he doesn't look too terribly bright. He looks drunk all the time, but he doesn't look too terribly bright. But I mean, anybody, well, okay, let's for a moment remember, he was approved by the Republicans in Congress for the job. Okay? That was it. Nobody, I mean, he was just not qualified for the job. You know, Josh?
They should let George Santos have it.
Yeah. George Santos would be better at it.
He's going to prison.
Sentenced,
He just got sentenced today.
I know. Yeah, I know. It was all over the news. You know what the news is, don't you? It's on like every hour, it says.
But he's going to get pardoned. That's what they said, too. They think, people they interviewed, that Trump will pardon him.
Why? Why would they pardon him? Why would he
not?
Because he says nice things about Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was enough. Okay. You know. Let me see here. Let's admit, let's see, let's make sure that we got him here okay. This is Tony coming on. But I don't, there we go. Here comes Tony. There he is. Okay.
You know the price of things that are starting to go up or become scarce in this country are drugs. We get
Yes.
we get a
Yes.
lot of drugs from India
Oh yeah.
and from China and stuff like that. Name brand drugs that you just like Bayer aspirin or something you take for granted. That the aspirin itself comes out of China.
Well, it came out tonight what Apple is doing about the iPhone.
What?
What do you think they're doing about the iPhone?
What are they doing? Yeah, I wanted to get the 17.
Yeah,
They're
Is it
going to
going to be
have the ones.
$900?
They're going to have the ones that are sold in America, made in India.
Oh, geez, they're moving to India.
Well, no, it
they
doesn't
already
matter.
have a
They're
presence in
fine there. They know how to make stuff. You know, they're very
Yeah.
good at it. But the stuff they make in China, they'll just sell to the rest of the world, and there'll be no tariffs on them.
That's right.
So you know, goodbye, Trump. There goes. Everybody's going to take Apple's lead and do the same thing.
So
when they put the tariffs out, they said they were going to police that so that people couldn't do that.
Right.
But
how can you police that?
Well, they, you know, it is illegal to avoid a tariff by falsely, you know, moving it across certain borders and things like that. I mean, you know, like you can't, if it was made in China, you know, I mean,
I'm sure
it
this
gets complicated, you know, and you ship it to Malaysia first, but then you buy it from someone in Malaysia to avoid the tariff. You know, you know.
Well, but this is simply having them made in another country, which everybody has the right to do.
So they're manufacturing it there, you know. I mean, I don't know if
that's what they're going to do. Yeah.
Plants or whatever, you know. I mean, that seems like a lot of talk because this will all that seems like a pretty large investment for something that will go away probably in a couple
I don't think it's an investment. They do have the companies there that can do it. You know, much like China has had it all along.
So here in Silicon Valley, where I live, most of the engineers that you see that are buying houses around me and stuff are Indian from India. They produce 5 times the electrical engineers and computer engineers than this country does.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But you say you live in Silicon Valley. You don't live in Silicon Valley.
Oh, yes, it is. Fremont, Silicon Valley.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's all over the area here. A mile from my house, there's probably 300 or 400.
No, I always thought that the bottom down from the peninsula was Silicon Valley.
It used to be like Sunnyvale and Cupertino.
But you're where then?
In Fremont.
Oh, you're in Fremont. Okay, that is Silicon Valley.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But Josh, it seems as though that Apple has found a way to handle this situation. Now,
I thought Apple made a deal with Trump or something, some kind of a payoff.
Yes.
So
they didn't make a deal, I don't think.
Well, Trump excluded Apple and cell phones.
Yeah.
The cell phones.
Yeah.
Like he did that in 2017, last time he was president.
Well, I think that but that's I don't know. It's crazy. It's nuts. Yeah. Okay. But you know, I mean, where is what's his name going to get his parts for his Teslas?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. He isn't selling Teslas any longer. They're 71% down in sales.
Yeah.
Here in this country, in Germany, I think they've made them illegal now.
Wow.
They just said, we don't want to have anything to do with him. Because he came into Germany and sided with the neo-Nazi party over there.
Yeah.
And gave speeches, and they just said, hey, forget it. We're not going to let you buy Teslas here anymore.
Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, have you ever seen anybody, wait a minute, I was going to say, have you ever seen anybody self-destruct his own company worse than Donald Trump? And then I started to think about Kanye West. So, you know. I mean, have you ever seen this happen, Charlie? I mean, not Charlie. Well, I mean, I could say Charlie, but Josh, have you ever seen this happen?
Oh, I don't think. I mean, you know, what Musk has done seems like it's cost him quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got
Well, I mean, he's got
a plan that we don't know about that he thinks it's going to work out, or what. I'm not.
Well, what was his game plan here?
Power.
I really don't know. I don't follow anything that he said for years because I mean, people loved him a long time ago, and I had always read all this crazy stuff that he talked about. Like before, I knew that Musk was a fascist 7 or 8 years ago. I would never buy a single thing from that guy. Period.
Yeah.
You guys have known for years that I said there's no way the United States government should be giving him a single dollar to do anything. He's the least trustworthy person in the entire world. He's the last person that our government should be giving money to run top secret operations like the space program. I mean, it's complete nonsense.
Well, he came out with SpaceX. He came out with the rockets at SpaceX. They were cheaper to launch. They were less expensive to use. And the government felt they were the best way to have somebody else who could send stuff up for them. Because up until then, how are we sending rockets to the space station? We were using Russian rockets to go up. And this alleviated us from having to use the Russian rockets to go up.
Well, they never should have taken that away from, the space program here. I mean, that's not.
But the space program, I got to tell you something, and I'm a little bit of I'm kind of aware of this because I've been into the space program for years. NASA in recent years has been a loser. They spend too much money to send up a rocket. They never looked for economy, for rockets which were cheaper, lighter, better. And they still, when they sent that rocket to the moon, they used an old Saturn rocket that they'd used for, am I right, Charlie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
I mean, not exactly the best idea in the world. You're not up with the space program, are you, Patrick? Do you pay much attention to it, or do you like it?
I pay enough attention to it, but
I notice you have 2 aliens sitting on your couch.
Yeah.
oh, that's true. Yeah. But I don't pay too. I mean, when we got rid of NASA years ago, I just kind of weaned off of it and thought, well,
we really didn't get rid of NASA. But the rockets that are going up now pretty much are SpaceX's, even if they're taking off from NASA, and even if they're a NASA project. So I mean, but I feel real bad for 2 things. Number one, I have always loved the space program, and I've always been a adherent to it and loved everything about the space program. You too, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
And when I don't know how you felt about it when Musk came along with SpaceX, but I was really cheering him on. They were doing some very good stuff. I mean, when you see those rockets, you think that, when did NASA ever have a rocket come down and get picked up by 2 chopsticks,
Well, I understand that, but my point is they were never given the opportunity to do that.
Right.
The funding that it takes to do that was pulled from them years before. They never had a chance. They had the same chance to build those rockets that I had.
Mm-hmm.
0. I mean, that's my point, is the same exact people that work for Musk could have been hired by our government to do the exact same thing. Musk didn't think of that. He didn't draw the blueprints for that. He didn't build any of the parts. It's not his idea
let me ask you.
Brain.
Let me ask you a very unpopular question here. Could it be that the talent that Musk had was to assemble the right people to do this job, where NASA was never able to do that, even if they had the money to do it with?
No, I don't think so at all. At one point in time, NASA had some of the, if not the finest people in all of the world working at NASA.
Yep.
NASA is the people that invented the game that he now plays.
Yep.
What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree with Josh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that NASA could have done it on their own had they had the proper amount of funding?
Yeah, well, they started pulling money from NASA decades ago.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they built the shuttle and all that, and when they got done with that, politicians stopped. They never got to the next step after a space shuttle and a space station. I mean, they had space shuttles in, you know, the late 70s, early 80s, right? They had to
Yeah.
have a space station in what, I don't know, the late 80s, maybe
Yeah.
early 90s. And at that point in time, right after that, every time they wanted to go to the next step, people would say, well, we don't want to do that. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, they didn't get any money after that. I mean, you
didn't
know,
they
they
have
haven't
like a
gotten any money since the Clinton administration.
What were you going to ask, Larkin?
Didn't they have a couple rockets that exploded? You know, there was that first one that exploded in the 80s, but then
Yeah.
was there another one that exploded when it was coming back?
There are
Yes.
3 that have exploded. Okay, one on the launch pad, where they were just going in and working on the capsule, and the capsule blew up. All right, so that was one problem. The second one, of course, was Challenger, and the
Yeah.
third one was, what was the name of the rocket that it was coming back?
Columbia.
Huh? What?
Columbia.
Columbia.
Columbia, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I'll tell you something. Those things were bound to happen. And we learn more from something like that than we learn from anything that's successful. It's sorry to say, but I think every astronaut, and I've seen interviews with astronauts about that very thing, and they just said, hey, it's part of the risk. Okay? And if you look at the percentage, the percentage of things that go wrong, the risk is pretty good, but we didn't stop just because Challenger did have what it did, or the Columbia had a problem coming back. And those happened to be, let's see here, Columbia was a space shuttle coming back.
Yeah.
The Challenger was a rocket going up, wasn't it? It wasn't a
shuttle rocket launch, but
was it a shuttle rocket launch? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they had an O-ring fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the first time they had launched a shuttle in freezing temperatures.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, for all the things that they're doing today.
Yes, you're right. I remember now. It was a shuttle. Yeah.
You know, it's they haven't. I mean, you know, this whole thing, you know, this, you know, Blue Origin and all that, and I understand, you know, they're a little bit behind.
I hate Blue Origin.
I'm just saying, like, they sent some people up in a thing, you know, women, and for a few minutes or whatever, and
11 minutes.
Deal about it. I mean, like, that's what John Glenn used to do on Tuesday before he ate lunch.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing I hate.
I'm dead serious.
Thing I hate about Blue Origin is it's just space tourism. It's kind of it's a rocket ride. It's 7 minutes and that's it. You know, and they don't even leave you. They don't even leave you up there for like one orbit, so at least you can, you know, float for a while. You know, it's a piece of garbage.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Some of the stuff that's celebrated now, I mean, it's been done. It's just, you know, I never agreed with taking funding away from that program, period. And I certainly don't think that after we did that we should have handed it to somebody like that. I mean,
well, who was the singer that went up just recently?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. She came back and she said, "Oh, it was so awe-inspiring to do, and boy, I'm so glad I'm an astronaut now." And I'm going, "You're not an astronaut, you know, maybe an astronet, you know, but not an astronaut." I mean, it just, you know, when they pass that off as space, does it bother you, Charlie?
Not the final frontier.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I don't want to think I'm the only one this way. Hello, Bree. Where are you on a plane, Bree? Are you on a plane? I can't hear you. Oh, you're in a bus.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you're on a bus. We can't hear you.
Maybe he has a delay or something.
You're on the 58 going.
Huh?
Sounds like a cost reduction. No more airplanes.
Yeah.
Not taking a bus.
I think it's your earphones or something. Are those earpods? Are those earpods? Because if they are, that's what's giving you the problem. That's why we can't hear you the same. We had the same problem with we had the same problem with Jeff earlier. Yeah. Take out your earphones for a second. Take them out for a second.
On this side?
Well, anyway. Hello to Kevin. Where are you, Kevin?
I'm in beautiful Wairika, California.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, but the problem is the whole bus can hear it, so I got to keep the earphones on.
No, I see.
Alex, I wanted to mention where you got to get Jack Gallagher on your show. Let's get that show running again.
What show running again?
The Jack Gallagher show.
The Jack Gallagher show? You mean the one that never got on the air?
Let's put it on Netflix.
Yeah. I would have loved to have seen the show. Anyway, so where are you? You're in Wairika. What are you doing in Wairika?
I'm heading up to Oregon.
Heading up to Oregon. Oh, I see. You're on your way to Oregon. Did you say you were buying a house?
That's what's happening yesterday.
Didn't you say you were buying a house up there or something?
Well, we're looking at them, properties and stuff.
Wow. You want to get...
We got a call and some good prospects, so we said I'm supposed to do a car show this weekend and turned around and went north.
Now, you didn't decide on Oregon because your daughter's going to school up there, but you probably saw it and loved it when you went up to see your daughter.
Well, I've been up here. We come up here all the time, and she happened to decide to go to school here, and now she's talking about staying.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started to rush up the retirement plans a little bit.
Oh.
And try and get residency for at least the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Save a few $100,000.
Residency where? Up there?
Yeah, because if you're non-resident, you're paying what, $60,000 more a year.
Really?
Oh yeah. What?
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's bend over Billy.
Well, can't you suddenly? Well, you probably could become,
Yeah.
a
You got
resident.
to be here at least 6 months, and then a full year, and then once she gets back to school, then they take that amount off.
Oh.
By the way, yeah, we have video of the front of the bus where Bree is, and I believe he said he's in Singapore, didn't he? Where I read he was.
Well, that car is sure pulling away from the bus quick.
Actually heading to Singapore.
What? Where are you, Bree?
Actually on the bus to Singapore.
The bus to where?
To Singapore?
Yeah, we can't really hear him. Okay, Singapore.
Singapore. He's driving from China to Singapore. I didn't know they had a freeway.
Well, anyway, so have you? How are prices where you are, Charlene?
Prices?
Mm-hmm. Are they going up? Have you seen a difference?
Well, I think you're right, Alex, that we got to wait till May because I haven't really seen it.
They say May will be that's empty shelf month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's going to be the month where we're going to start seeing this whole
I mean, there
thing.
were no tomatoes like last week or something. I don't
Once
know if
this gets that bad, I mean, Trump's popularity is down to what, 36%, something like that?
It's really bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really bad.
Well, they're saying out here that the Oakland port has dropped inbound containers about 40% already.
Wow.
Wow.
I used to work that port. I worked the port for 8 years.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of containers that aren't coming in. And that's all stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
Starting to bring in the Christmas stuff.
Oh yeah, what's going to happen Christmas? Everything's from China, right?
Thank God. Thank God I don't leave.
You better stock up on your drugs.
Thank God I don't leave the house.
You realize you can go in Portugal.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll tell you what's expensive.
What's that?
Normally, when I would go out to eat, Marjorie and I got to eat. We'd eat at a restaurant. Okay. 50, 60 bucks, maybe.
You get dessert with that, Alex, or no?
It depends on where I go.
Oh, okay. I always wanted to be. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Did you get dessert with that? I don't know, but I'm just saying that it used to be like 50, 60 bucks.
Okay.
I have not gotten out of a single restaurant for before tip, without under $100.
Wow, that's a lot.
Wow.
And that's like our local, a local little simple Italian restaurant or whatever. We go up the street to a place called the Harlem Tavern, which is like just a brew pub, sports pub.
Mm-hmm.
$100 without even breathing heavy, and then I've got the tip after that, so it comes about $120. It has just gone. That's gone up. So even for us, and we don't go out much, or we order out and bring it in. Marjorie orders from any number of sources and so on. Our food bill has just gotten out of sight. So I mean, it's happening to us. And how are prices where you are, Jeff? You're up in Connecticut.
Same thing.
Same thing. How about you, Charlie?
Yep.
Same
thing.
Patrick?
Same.
Yeah. Do you go out and shop for your stuff, or do you have it delivered, or what?
No, I've got people that my folks or friends of mine, I have them. For me to go out for more than 2 or 3 things, how the fuck am I going to get them in the house?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm wondering if you have.
Yeah, I'm fortunate that I've got people that help me out that way. So.
But you could use something if you had to, like Instacart would go out and do the shopping for you and bring it to your home.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But so that simplifies the matter a bit.
I noticed food prices in San Francisco and restaurants are going up.
Well, how about you, Larkin?
Yeah, it's like $3.50 for a cup of coffee at Pete's Coffee. That's just a small coffee.
Wow.
No.
Wow. Yeah.
It's it was less than $2 last year.
Yeah. And these prices are going up, and it doesn't mean they're going to come back down. No. Because let's say tomorrow he did away with all the tariffs and no more tariffs, and okay. Do you think these people are going to lower their prices after having raised them?
No.
Of course not. No.
Not very many.
Well, they got used to it. Let's keep charging them that.
Yep.
Really what happens,
That's right. They paid for it then. They didn't complain. We'll just keep charging.
Well, no, you don't complain. How can we complain? I feel sorry for the person who owns a restaurant. I feel sorry for a person who owns some kind of bodega or something where they, where they have to maintain the shelving and the stuff on the shelves and to deal with the customers. And they understand, but once that the prices have gone up, to get them to go down again is almost impossible. Almost impossible.
Hey, here in San Francisco, the economy is just wrecked. I mean, you go down Powell Street, like where the cable cars go, everything's closed. Everything's open. I mean, closed up commercial buildings.
Well, everything in Union Square, I hear, is,
Oh, Beth Israel went out of business. Where I had my son, I couldn't believe that. On 17th, Beth in New York, yeah. Wow. I couldn't believe it went out of business.
Really?
I think Bree's bus just ran over Larkin.
I like the cars in Singapore. I don't see any Teslas, right?
No.
Well, I'm leaving Florida on Tuesday, so I'll start.
Oh, you're not up in
What the
Connecticut right now.
prices
Oh,
are.
so you got Florida prices right now.
Yeah,
How are they?
Half off.
but I think they're the same as what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. But we haven't seen it really go up yet. We have not seen the result of the tariffs and so on.
Yep.
And you know, he claims I'm dealing with 200 countries. I'm dealing with more countries than there are countries. I think he said that at one point today.
He's got the risk bought out, Alex, probably.
Huh?
He's
And
got
he
the
said, I'm
risk
dealing
bought
with
out.
200 countries. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, this isn't Trump country, you asshole. I mean, this isn't Trump Inc. He thinks he's running a business, and he's not running a business. He's running a goddamn country.
If you're smart, you try
Run
to
a
get fired from
business.
him now.
Never.
Huh?
Break everything.
He's never run a business effectively.
Well, no, but he's saying he's acting like
Alex.
he's running a business.
Alex.
He's talking about we want to buy Greenland.
Yeah.
That's what Greenland, yeah.
What? You're not going to buy Greenland? Yes, Charlene.
He's stuck on The Apprentice and The Art of the Deal, his book. I heard him somewhere, on the news or something. Oh, I got a good deal going. Everything's a deal, right?
Yeah.
Did we ever have a president that spoke like that, like it was a big deal going
Deal.
on?
Listen, I never heard a president who used four-letter words.
Right.
Okay, and he uses them like crazy.
Well, his whole staff are billionaires, so
Yeah.
Well, not his whole staff, as some of his
Most of
spokespeople
them.
aren't.
He did an interview with Time Magazine. It's completely bonkers. He's out of his fucking mind.
Oh, there's one up with Time Magazine now where he, he made 200 deals. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, what
right.
they called you up to say, here's what we're going to give you, and that's it. Oh, okay. Come on. I don't believe any of this. But the people who do believe it are the Trumpites, the people who love Trump.
Well, it was funny the other day. He was saying, "Oh, I'm on the phone with China. I'm trying to strike deals." So the China guy said, "Yeah, we're not on the phone talking to him."
He said he had talked to Xi, and the Chinese government said he hasn't talked to anybody here.
Yeah, it's just like he's lying again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
yeah, really.
And somebody said, "Oh, you talked to him? Well, what did you discuss?" And he said, "Oh, well, I can't talk about that."
Yeah, it's never gonna
Yeah, secret.
You can talk to him. He's like, yeah.
I mean,
But
this
heads up,
would,
about it. He'll
I
put
think,
on,
I think this would be hilarious if it weren't so serious.
Yeah.
Right.
If our whole lives weren't at stake.
And Alex, he hired Mark Levin now, I heard.
He's buying what?
Mark Levin, the radio host for Fox News or whatever he is.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know. He's going to be a consultant to somebody on the staff.
Oh, great. Mark Levin's terrific. Yeah. He isn't even a good broadcaster, But anyway, hey, listen, I want to say before we get off here, for the people who, listen to the show right after us, which is The Intersection with Amy Emanuel, she is not on tonight. She has a migraine headache. So we wish her well. So what you will hear right after this is last night's Intersection. Okay. Anyway, let me start the theme here. There we go. It's time for us to say goodbye. Oh, what are you doing there, Larkin?
I don't know. Something's with the camera. It's probably because the back.
That's because you're just using their form of
Fake
keying.
green screen.
Yeah, when you do that, unless you've got real incredible lighting, you get that problem, Well, you're making us dizzy, Larkin.
Yeah.
Stop, Larkin. Damn it.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Charlie. We appreciate it as always. Same to you, Alan. Josh, great having you here, along with the regulars we usually have when we talk together privately on Saturday night. With Patrick is here and Kevin is here. And thanks to Jeff Stein. Thanks to Charlene Martinez. Good to see you again. Poster child for Ozempic. Tony, thank you for being here. Bree, nice to see that you're taking a bus ride and sharing it with us. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, Larkin, call us more, will you?
Yeah,
Where
for sure.
the hell have you been? Okay. And everybody, what I would just say is, everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll have another one on Monday as we do our pop-up show, and that goes out over Facebook at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And then, let's see here, we'll see you again on Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern Time. Same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, of course, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.